Hello everybody, welcome back. Today we are looking at more of my collection, and you might be wondering, well, we already looked at the Panasonic SC9000 HD. Well, you're right, and today we are just looking at, this is going to be a real short video. I just wanted to show you the modifications that I did. Now, I actually did this months ago, probably 3 or 4 months ago at this point. And the reason I haven't really done a video is more of just like a test. Make sure everything's in order, make sure it's worthy of making a video. Firstly, let's get all this junk off with. Get out of here. Oh god. Alright, so previously we looked at the record player. Well, we looked at everything, but previously we looked at the record player mainly. And we took a look at the radio, and oh, excuse me. And we also took a look at the reel-to-reel and everything that I kind of did inside of it. But now I'm going to take you back to what I showed before, and that is the miscellaneous. Alright, so before I showed you the cassette player that I had and the 8-track player that I put into the stereo. And yeah, I said in the video that I wasn't 100% happy with it. I was happy with how it looked in as a general like appeal. But I really wanted a CD player because then it really makes the stereo an all-in-one thing. And so after I made that video, I kind of did some searching and just looking around, and obviously what you're looking at is what I came up with. And I made sure to take plenty of pictures compared to last time. So we'll start with the 8-track player. The 8-track player is the same. It's one of those things where it was tiny to begin with, so why bother changing it? Push it down. We got billion-dollar movies here. $1 billion. Let's check it out. There it is. I don't need to show too much of that, only because I've already did that in the previous video. I really wanted everything to kind of be matching the Panasonic thing, but Panasonic didn't have this small of car players. But this one is a nice little Pioneer. It's a car radio. One of the things that I wanted to avoid was using all car players. Obviously I failed at that because I didn't want it to look tacky, especially when I move on to the CD player. But I think I chose all pretty decent players that kind of fit the aesthetic for the most part. Let's say I'm listening to The Village People, and I put the cassette in, I start playing it. Well, where does the case go? You just kind of throw it somewhere. You throw it on this side because the reel-to-reel isn't used too often. You throw it over here, you throw it over there. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but I really wanted like a shelf that could go above my stereo, and it could fit records, 8-track, or 8-tracks are... 8-tracks is redundant. CDs, cassettes, and records. And I guess reel-to-reel boxes at that point. And it was just kind of like a holder for everything. They all look awful. They all look tacky and gross. So I decided that when I make my all-in-one machine, I'll have a little slot, so then when I listen to cassette tapes, there you go. It fits them. And I thought the other benefit of having a slot, and this is what I was talking about in the beginning, is having a mini disc player to really have everything. And the mini disc player could just live in here, and I could have an extra aux port for the slot, because there's four slots right here. So the fourth slot could be the mini disc player, and I could just hide like a little aux cord down here. That's a future project, and I don't even have any mini discs, so I'm not worried about that. So in the previous video, I mentioned how I didn't like dealing with wires and the clunkiness of receiver boxes and big CD players and big, I didn't want that in my stereo. And I think, just in case anybody is curious, obviously when I get a proper house and I have the room, I would like to have like a genuine hi-fi area. But this is meant to be like casual listening. You know, this puts in the living room. You could put on any music. Nobody would tell the difference between a good cassette player and a bad cassette player. Just casual listening. And then when it comes to the wires, it's more or less, I wanted a permanent solution. Because like sometimes you find a better cassette deck and then you got to pull it out. Or sometimes the equalizer has confusing port names. And with this, it's all connected. Everything's together. It's just simplified. Is it a little complicated to access everything if you do want to change something? Yes, but because it's for casual listening, you don't need to change anything. If that makes sense. That's what I was trying to aim for. I actually bought something I've never bought in before, and I don't feel like getting it. It's in a drawer somewhere, but I'll put a picture up. It's called a demagnetizer, and basically it demagnetizes the cassette head, and it was giving off a pretty crackly output on the audio, and it wasn't the cassette. So I bought a demagnetizer just to see if it would work, and I think it did. I think it's completely a placebo effect, but I don't know. It's something that you could use for anything: Betamaxes, VCRs, cassettes. So it's something that I'm glad I bought, but it's just a little goofy. The experience was weird. It said like stand 2 feet back. Like I feel like I was doing a science experiment. Anyways, so we're gonna be listening to Travolta Fever. Look at that guy. Another thing that I wanted in a cassette player was auto reverse, because the other cassette player that I had in this machine was every time it stopped you had to get up, open the cabinet, switch the tape around, and with each cassette being like 15 minutes or so, it was just kind of a hassle. So I wanted an auto reverse and a fast forward that you can just hold down. What's up with this Travolta? What's going on, man? You good? There we go. Before I continue, I guess I'll point out the very odd color with this. Originally I did a stain, and the stain came out really orange. I color matched it and it came out to be this, but I guess the wood soaked it in differently, and I might have a picture. If I do, I'll show it. If I don't, I'll just cut all this out. But it came out really orange, and then my fiance gave me the idea to use I forgot what paint it was, but it's just a paint. It's a little off. I'm not bothered by it though. Will I fix it someday? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Also, the inside of this slot, I bought fabric, and this fabric just to prevent it from, because I keep other things in here. If I reach my hand in there, I got hold on. I got extra needles, and I got a little adapter for aux to aux, guitar aux. I don't know what the millimeters are. I don't really care either. And I just wanted something to protect it so it's not rubbing against bare wood. Yeah, so cassette goes in there. And I spent some time and made the inside really neat. I soldered a whole nice setup for AV. It's not the neatest thing in the world, but it works for this case. For the most part, it points at each thing. There's an extra one, an extra AV port if I wanted to add something in the future. And then finally, the CD player. I think I picked the most least tacky one. It's black, it's silver. it's got a radio, which I was trying to avoid. I was trying to look up so many different ways. I was going to look up, I was originally going to do a DVD player, because DVD players can play CDs, but I wanted a front display to know what I was playing, like, you know, fast forward and all that, and I didn't want to rely on a remote. Then I was going to look into using a CD-ROM from a computer, and they actually have little mod kits that you could make your own display and make your own little controls, and I thought that was going to be it. But CD-ROMs are a little bit too big. They're about the size of this, and then with that, the screen would have to take up like at least this spot alone. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll finally do the CD player from a car, and I think it works pretty well. It's also got an aux cord, which I wanted to look out for. So if I really wanted to plug in like an iPod or something, just straight into there. So that works out pretty well. We got Smash Mouth. Let's see how this goes. So we'll just turn on the radio. Now on the camera, it looks like that this whole thing's lit up. It's not. It's just the reflection, not the reflection, the angle. If you're looking on it straight on, or like if you're looking how I'm looking at it, like a normal person would, it says FM1, 2:26 p.m. So ignore this. All right, so we got source, aux in, obviously for the aux port, FM1, aux in, FM1, aux in. I think CD's automatic. I kind of forgot about that. Let's just ignore what I just did there. All right. I'm looking at my watch. Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. The CDs, if anybody wondering, they do kind of fit, but you have to angle them. But they do fit in there. So, yeah, that's why I like that little slot. It just fits whatever. That, you can shove other stuff, you know. Usual stuff. Usual stuff. Ton of things I would do differently. For example, this cassette player is a little leaning a bit. I mean, all I need is a piece of wood, but there's basically what I'm saying is there's some things that I would change with it. But I'm also a very casual music listener. Like, I very rarely listen to music, and when I do, these tiny things aren't going to bother me. And it's mainly there for the gimmick, the convenience of things, a story piece. You know, someone walks by, they open up this 40-year-old cabinet, and they open it up, and it's like, whoa, CD player, and it's just a nice little conversation piece. And also, all the junk I collect, I can finally listen to without having to pull stuff out. And that's all I got. So I will see you around, and no more videos on my random projects and me blabbering for 10 minutes. So, alright, see you around, like a donut.